So with regards to the rules, again, making sure that you are implementing these. Again, they do help. It's using lots of headers. It's great for keeping you focused. It's great for keeping the marker focused as well, avoiding this big block of text. Rule number 2, making sure that you're making enough points. If you've got 18 marks for a question and then 15 marks for a second subtask, make sure you're writing enough to earn 18 marks. Make sure you're writing enough to earn a decent part of those 15 marks. And likewise, making sure that you are using enough points for the relevant amount of marks available for the question. Now, 18, 15, it's not too... they're quite similar in size, but when you've got, say, the third task, or one of the 3-part task, which often can be a 20 mark and 2 7 marks, making sure you are allocating those points based on the volume required. If you are splitting your time evenly and your marks evenly across those 3, you're not going to earn a lot of marks, because you're going to write too much for 2 of those subtasks and nowhere near enough for 1 of those subtasks. So with the feedback, I would say that, well, of course, the ideal situation is breadth and depth. But of course, if you are struggling with one of the 2, depth is more along the lines of what the examiner, the marker, wants to see in the strategic case study. If you can write several paragraphs worth of depth and detail for different points, it's better to do that than to write lots of very shallow points. So with how many points do we typically write? Well, in our mock exams, etc., we generally aim for 1 paragraph, 1 point. Now, of course, that again is a real over preparation, as it were. But I, as a tutor for this subject, the years of experience of teaching for this subject, don't want to assure students or suggest to students that you will get multiple points for each paragraph you do, because it doesn't always work like that. So I generally recommend 1 paragraph, 1 point. Now, of course, that is a lot, but actually, if you can write that amount, then you will be in a very good position for passing. Because if you need to get to write 18 points or 18 paragraphs and you write 15 or 14 out of 18 is still going to be a very good score. We generally recommend 60 to 80 word paragraphs, certainly not suggesting you count those out. It's just more of a general feel for the length of the paragraph, because if you're writing less than 60, you might not be getting depth into it. If you're writing more than 80, it could be that you're beginning to repeat yourself or waffle on. Aim for a paragraph per point. Just again, don't assume that you're going to earn multiple points, multiple marks for each paragraph that you write. And use models where appropriate to structure answer, which we've already gone through that as well. Those of you who were on the class that we went through, the mini mock and planned it out, whilst it looks like a lot to say how you're going to bring up 18 points or 18 marks for a question, when you really break it down, you break it down into all its composite parts, you actually see that there's only a few points you have to make for every point, and you can quite easily earn that almost 100% mark. Rule 6, always make sure you're relating it to robo-price, always making sure you're bringing in points from the unseen, the pre-seen, etc. Because again, it's a test of your business acumen. You're not answering this from a theoretical perspective, you're answering it from a senior manager working at robo-price. Do make sure that each point addresses the requirements. And I've said before, even if that means just writing just a half a sentence that ties it exactly. And this is why we should respond in this way. And this is why we should undertake this project. And this is why we should expand into this market. So just to, even if it's really, really repetitive and on the nose, but just making it crystal clear that you wrote this with the intention of helping to answer the question, just makes it crystal clear in the marker's mind that you are bringing this point up to answer the requirements. Rule 8, remember the role and audience. Similar to what the examiner said, Imagine that you're doing this as an important project for the directors at the company you actually work for. It's not something that you are just doing for the sake of doing. It's not something that you're doing for the people that work underneath you. You are doing it for the directors. So remember the role, remember the audience, remember that they want the firm recommendations and suggestions. They want clear, succinct points. They don't want just lists and lists of data, but without any explanation or analysis. Remember who you are talking to. And remember to use a direct answer style. This is what helps keeps you focused. It stops you from waffling on and going above that 80 words as well. Is be really direct, really to the point. You don't have time to write how you might actually write to someone in real life, where you would have much more of a personable approach. You almost want to just be really direct and just fire out all your points as quickly as possible.